Hey, what's happening? I'm Coach Ryan Family of the Viper Pit. Today I want to give you a pulley-only upper back workout that you can use to develop your lats, your rhomboids, your traps, and everything in that upper back to help build size and strength as well as stability for the shoulder girdle. Now, it is no secret that the foundation of good hard back training are things like dumbbell rows, barbell rows, chin-ups, pull-ups, all different variations. Sometimes, however, you may find yourself stuck with nothing but a pulley unit. A lot of times you may find yourself in a hotel gym where the dumbbells aren't really heavy enough to really go hard on the dumbbell rows, so you need some alternatives. So that's what I'm going to give you today. It's going to be a 5-exercise workout to really target the entire upper back musculature. And again, this is going to be more of a hypertrophy element. This also works really well if you've already built a lot of size with the dumbbell and barbell rowing variation. You just want to kind of laser target in a little more on specific areas. So with that being said, let's dive right in. The first exercise we've got here is going to be a hybrid between a pull down and a row, and it's designed to target the lats. So when we talk about the lats, we're talking about the wings, if you will, when someone spreads their wings underneath the armpit, that big slab of muscle. Now the lats connect the shoulder complex all the way down into the lower back. So this first exercise is designed to really isolate and target the lats. Now, a lot of people get crazy with lats and they think they have to go super wide hand positions on things like pull downs and pull-ups. But really the best way to target the lats is to just ensure that the elbow is driving straight down towards the hip. The other thing I've mentioned is because we're focusing on the lats and not the upper back as much with this one, you don't need to let the elbow drift behind the body. A mistake a lot of people make when doing lat training is they'll do a pull down and let the elbow go way behind the body. The lats can't do that. Only the upper back, the scapular retractors, can bring the arms back behind the body. So really with this is a half kneeling, high pulley, hybrid lat pull down row, if you will. I don't really know what I want to call this. It doesn't have an official name, but the idea with this, you really just want to think about driving the elbow and the shoulder down to the hip. So you're going to get in half kneeling position. What that means is one knee is down, one knee is up. You're going to be back just a little bit so that the handle is in front of you and above your head. You don't want to be directly underneath it. And from here, you're simply going to drive your elbow down towards your hip and then also lean your torso to that side. The reason we have that torso side lean is because the lats tie into the thoracolumbar fascia so they can assist in that side bending maneuver. And if you do this correctly, driving the elbow down to the hip, you're going to get an intense cramping sensation in that lat area. So that's the first exercise I'm going to start with. We're going to do the repetitions on each side to really blow up the lats. It's important as you set up that your lumbar spine is neutral and braced. If you're overarching your back, you're not going to be able to contract the lats as well. With that being said, you want the working arm, whatever side the working arm is. In this case, the left side is the working arm. You're going to have the left leg up, and to be the foot that you're posted on your knee, your right knee is going to be into the ground, okay? That's going to help keep your pelvis in a good position. Second exercise we got here is going to be more for the upper back or the muscles between the shoulder blades. So the rhomboids, middle and lower trapezius, etc. With this one, the pulley is going to be level with your body and you're pulling back. Your arm angle is going to, with the lat pull down, we wanted that arm right by the hip and we're tucking into the hip. With this variation, the elbow is going to be about 45 degrees from the body. So you're still going to get a little bit of lat action in there, but it's also going to be a lot of mid to upper back. You have a bench here that is optional. If you don't have access to a bench, don't worry about it. You can do it just standing and braced. But I like the bench here because it gives you just something to support yourself with to really focus on the targeted muscles. So the line of pull here is literally going to be straight out from the shoulder, and then you're going to bring it right beside your chest with the elbow at about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to just rest my forearm here for support, just to make sure my torso is braced and stable, and that only the working muscles are doing the contracting here. So we're going to get the pulley handle, I'm going to brace on the bench, get nice and tight, and we're going to pinch the upper back. The goal here, you want to try to think about getting that elbow as far behind the body as possible, and your hand is you're just using it as a hook. You don't want to pull with your biceps. So you're driving back with the elbow and getting a good squeeze in that upper back and middle trapezius. You also don't want to let the shoulder shrug up. The shoulder should stay down and back, and the chest should stay nice and proud throughout the whole range of motion. In fact, as you drive the elbow back, you should think about pushing the chest forward and up to really get a good upper back contraction. So we hit the lats more with the first exercise, the hybrid half kneeling pull down row. This is going to be more the upper back, the rhomboids and the middle traps with the bench supported pulley row. And now we're going to get into the next section. All right, I really like this next exercise. This is also going to hit the rhomboids and the middle traps just like the last one, but this is also going to put a special emphasis on the posterior deltoids. This is a great shoulder builder as well as a good shoulder health exercise. So this is a cross pulley, high pulley row. You're going to take a cross pulley grip, so as I'm facing, my right arm is grabbing this handle, my left arm is grabbing the other handle. We're going to keep the elbows high, and we're going to simply drive the elbows out to the sides and then bring it back in. Drive the elbows out to the sides, pinching the shoulder blades hard, keeping the chest lifted, and then bring it back in. Now this feels a lot different. The angle of pull of the pulleys changes how this is going to feel in your upper back and rear delts. I really like this one for higher repetitions and or isometric holds in that contracted position. What you really want to be thinking about with this one is driving your elbows to the walls and really spreading out nice and wide with this one. For this next variation, we're going to hit the lats again, but this time we're going to focus on more of a stretch position for the lats. So in the first exercise, the half kneeling hybrid pull down row, that's going to hit more the contracted position of the lats. This one is going to be a straight arm variation, so we're taking the biceps out of it, and we're simply going to pull using the shoulder and the lats only. So you're going to do, you can do this if you have two handles, you can do it with two handles. You can also do it one at a time. It really doesn't matter if you have like a rope handle, you can do two arms at a time, but you're simply going to start and you're going to hinge your hips backwards and bend forward, and then simply drive down with a straight arm and then squeeze your lat when your hand is by your hip. You do not need to go all the way back here. Again, the lats don't bring the arms past the body, they just bring it to the hip. You're also thinking about making as big of an arc as possible. So do not pinch your shoulder blade back. That is a huge mistake with this. You actually want to be reaching forward. So I'm reaching as far forward as I can, and I'm reaching as I'm pulling, reaching, and then now I'm pushing towards the floor and really pushing towards the floor in the contracted position as well. That big arc that you're making helps the serratus anterior, which is a shoulder stabilizer, helps to stabilize the scapula, and you're going to get more involvement out of the lats when you really reach to make that big arc. So try to think of tracing as big of an arc as possible with your hands. Don't try to keep it nice and close to your body. Really reach out for that one. Again, you can do that one arm or two arms at a time. It's going to hit the lats more in a stretch position. Last but not least, we're going to hit the upper and middle trapezius. These are the muscles on the back of your neck that really give you that power look. They're also really good for shoulder stabilization. The traps are important, and the upper traps, a lot of people it gives good stability in the upper back for things like bench presses and dumbbell presses. It gives you something to press off of essentially, so training the trapezius is good. It's also important for shoulder health. With this, I like a wide angle. The traps are typically, with most barbell and dumbbell movements, are in a really favorable position to produce a lot of leverage and force. You need a ton of weight to train the traps if you're doing like barbell shrugs. With this, we don't have a ton of weight, so we're changing the angle so that it's upwards and in, and you can get away with less weight. Another thing we're going to do with this is we're going to do isometric holds in the contracted position. So we're going to take that wide angle, we're going to go palms facing forward, and you're going to shrug up and in, and you're going to hold for a 6 count on each rep. Now it's important you keep your sternum lifted to the ceiling as you shrug up. What you don't want to see is yourself slouching down to try to meet the resistance. You want to keep that sternum high and lift the shoulders up as you shrug. Other thing you want to do is keep the chin packed. Back here, you don't want to have a droopy chin or look down or anything like that. Chin packed and neutral. Think about making a double chin. Shrugging up, sternum proud, 6-second hold on each contraction. I promise you, your traps will be more sore than they ever have been with those long duration isometric holds. And that is it. Those are the 5 exercises you're going to incorporate into your complete pulley only upper back workout. Now, I want to dive in and show you how you can program this. All right, so now we've given you the exercises. Now it's time to show you how to throw this together into a complete program. A lot of different variables exist when we're talking about program design, so we're not going to dive into all that. This is just a sample. You may have to tweak this to fit your individual needs. Okay, but let's start off. We're going to start off the workout with the half kneeling hybrid lat pull down row. It's kind of a mouthful. We need to find a better name for that, so I'm going to leave that to you guys. Comment below if you have a better name. We're going to do a 2-second isometric hold on each repetition in the shortened position. So when you're fully contracted, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and then let it up. That's going to really wake up the central nervous system. It's going to really activate the lats. The other thing is, it allows you, if you don't have a super heavy cable stack, to still get something out of the workout. We're going to do basic 3 sets of 10 to 12 each arm on that one. That's a good way to kick off the workout. Nothing fancy, no tricks on that. Just good, hard, basic, progressive work, trying to add a little bit more as we can. Now, I've given you a rep bracket, 10 to 12. Your goal is always to reach the top number in the rep bracket. If you get the middle number or the top number, then you increase the weight. So let's say you do the first set and you get 12. Awesome. No matter how hard it is, you increase the weight. Now, second set, let's say you get 11. No matter how hard it is, again, you increase the weight. And you keep working in that manner until you either reach the bottom of the rep bracket. So once you get 10, you stop there. Even if you have more sets, you stop increasing the weight, you keep the weight the same and complete your sets there. So it could, your first workout doing this, as you're learning the loads, you may get 12, 12, 12 on every set, even though you're going up. In that case, you'll know to start even heavier the next time. Maybe you go 11, 9, and at that point, if you go 11, 9, you probably went too heavy. So this rep bracket is just to help you guide your weight selection. Again, if you get the top number or the middle number, you increase the weight for your next set, no matter how challenging it was. If you get the bottom number, then you keep the weight the same for your next set, if that makes sense. Okay, so we do our first 3 sets there. Then we dive into the chest supported pulley row. We're gonna hit the same set and repetition bracket here, 3 sets of 10 to 12 each, except we're gonna add in a rest pause on the last set. All that means is, on the very last set, you're gonna go, let's say you get 10, and it's the best you can do. You do your 10th rep, you set it down, you're gonna rest for 10 to 15 seconds, and then pick the weight up and rep it out again, okay? If you choose your loads correctly, you're probably only gonna get about 4 on that rest pause set. If you do your 10th rep, you rest for 10 to 15 seconds, and you can do 10 more, your weight selection is BS, and you need to work harder in the gym, okay? So basically on the last set only, you do your 10 to 12 reps, challenging reps, ideally hitting failure within that rep bracket, rest for 10 to 15 seconds, and then rep to failure with the same weight. You do not decrease the load on that one, okay? Then we get into the cross pulley row. Again, the wide angle cross pulley row. I like that for higher repetitions, so we're gonna go 3 sets of 20 to 25 repetitions on that. Really smoke up the middle and upper trapezius as well as the rear delts. Then we hit the straight arm bent over lat pull down, pulling right to the hip. We're only gonna do 1 set on this, but it's gonna be a triple drop set. What that means is you're gonna find a weight that would be a challenging 10 reps. You're gonna do a hard 10 reps. Then you're gonna drop the load about 15%, do another hard 10 reps, drop the load another 10 to 15%, and do another hard reps. There's only 10 seconds rest in between the weight decreases, so it's just boom, 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 get her done. So it's essentially 3 sets wrapped into 1. You're just dropping the weight with each successive rest period of 10 seconds, so that's why it's called a drop set, okay? Just 1 long, drawn-out set consisting of 3 little mini sets. And finally, we want to finish off with the wide angle shrug. We're going to do a 6-second isometric hold in that contracted position, and you're going to do 3 sets of 6 to 8. The rep bracket is lower because you're doing a longer duration contraction there. Now, variables to play with. This workout is set up where you're taking complete recovery between your sets. So you do a set of 10 to 12, you rest completely until you can do another set of 10 to 12 and still use appreciable weight. If you wanted to, you could do more sets of each exercise and decrease the rest period. This would be really beneficial if you're someone who's very, very strong and the pulley stack's kind of light. to where you could use the whole stack for 10 to 12 reps and it's not that much of a challenge. In that case, do a higher number of sets and just take short rest intervals in between sets to eventually get to the point where you are hitting failure in that 10 to 12 repetition bracket. Those are some things you could do. You could also take the repetition bracket higher if you wanted to work more on muscular endurance. So this could be 15 to 20, 15 to 20, 30 to 50, 15, 15, 15 drop set, etc. You get the idea there. You could also, if you're not very strong or you have a super heavy pulley stack, you could take these repetition brackets a little bit lower to work more towards maximum strength. But typically, for maximum strength of the back, you're going to tend to favor chin-up variations, heavy dumbbell and barbell rowing variations. So that doesn't really apply as much with a pulley, but it's still an option if you're not super strong yet. I hope this gives you some cool ideas of how to program a workout using only pulleys for your upper back. I am Coach Ryan Finley from the VIPAR Pit. If you like this video, please hit subscribe below, and I'll catch you next time.